Welcome back, Gearheads. Today we're going to be reviewing two games, Space Agent and Sherriff VR.
And Shar 1 came out on the Gear VR. Check it out! First time that her eyeballs rolled up, I felt speed.
I got a bunch of these exploits. Let's speed this up.
Boom. Glad they developed something like this, man. We need this.
And the Oasis is a virtual reality world that has everybody connected to it all over the planet.
I am Korea.
Space Agent was developed by Chestar Studios. The game boasts that you're a space agent pilot in the distant future. You embark on a journey to execute a secret mission and travel across the galaxy. Can you survive? You control your ship by steering with your head, just by looking. Other games on the Gear VR with a similar control scheme are Drift, Lamper VR, and Smash. The graphics are plain but detailed enough for what you're paying for. The soundtrack is the very same song, over and over and over. Gameplay, there are a lot of things I really like about Space Agent. Number one, I really like that you have more than one agent to choose from. They look different and each have their own perk. I like the look of the robot one, he's the best. But I like the gem perk of the other pilot. I like how when you're playing the game, your ship wiggles a little bit. The attention to detail is pretty amazing. I also like that when you graze a beam, your ship can bounce off it, sustaining a little bit of damage, then levels itself out after a few seconds, instead of just exploding when it just grazes by something, because we all know that's pretty cheap. But it seemed to me that the game decided when I had gone far enough, and it would kill me without much chance to make it any further. Watch this, I'm going to hit this wall. What? Alright, I beat my last score. Okay, so then we... What? Is it worth 99 cents? Yeah, for the most part. It's a quick time waster. It's not graphically enticing, really. I think the game relies on the 3D stereoscopic view of being in VR. But if you've been in VR for a while, that really isn't that amazing. I feel like this developer is the most honest of any game developer I've seen of this round of games that came out. And you're getting much more content for what you're paying for a VR game. And I applaud the developer for their honesty. The next game we're reviewing is Sherriff VR. The developers are Lupa Incorporated. They've developed quite a few other games for the Google Cardboard. The controls are, again, look around, but when you slightly gaze down, your character will move forward. This mechanic is quite clunky, but it works good enough. The first few minutes I played the game, I felt like the game was a lot of fun. I could gaze at people and I could shoot them, and they have kind of like a funny rock back with their head when they get shot. But I really wished we had controller support. That'd make the game a lot more fun. When I first started playing this game, I thought how much fun it would be to play a first-person shooter, even with this kind of mechanic. Kind of like Doom, or even early games like the Wolfenstein games. I think it'd be so much fun to walk around and blast the bad guys on Mars. But when I was playing through the first level, I noticed that there was only like 3 or 4 bad guys. Where's all the rest of them? Where's all the rest of the bad guys? I think that a first-person shooter, a real one, would really work well on the Gear VR. But it'd have to have controller support. You have a limited amount of bullets, and depending on if the game glitches, that's plenty. But the glitching of the game is the only thing that gives you a challenge. I beat the game within 15 minutes of buying it. It reminds me of the free 25% finish games that came out when the Cardboard first launched. And that was acceptable because it was so new, developers needed time to finish their games. The game boasts full 3D immersion. The game boasts realistic 3D sounds. Not even close. The game boasts captivating soundtrack. Absolutely not. You hear this song looped over and over and over for this entire game. No different soundtrack, no different music. It's just this. I've used 2 songs in this video already that I got free off YouTube. They couldn't find 2 more songs to use? Maybe a different song for every level? No, it's just the same track over and over again. The game boasts incredible graphics that create a level of palpable reality. The graphics they're okay, they're pretty cool, but they are cartoony, not palpable reality. To give you an example of just how long this game is, let me speed it up a little bit. We'll see how long it takes me to get. Is it worth $4? No. There's 4 levels, you have 1 gun, bugs galore, 0 challenge. This game should technically, honestly, be free.
And maybe you're thinking, Nate, aren't you being a little hard on this game? No, I really don't think I am. And here's why.
The developer mainly covers Google Cardboard apps, so I checked out some of them. The one I found the most interesting was called Wild Wild West VR. Does this remind you of anything? Some aspects, this game looks even better than Sherriff VR. Here's another game. It's called Defend Castle. But my favorite one was called Sci-Fi VR. They all have pretty much the same game mechanic, except for Sci-Fi VR has it's more like a on-rails shooter. But I kind of like the look of their aliens. They all have the same play mechanic and quality and game replayability that Sherriff VR has. Not much. But their ultimate redeeming quality of these cardboard games is that they are absolutely free, with the option to buy the game if you wanted cooler characters. But this is what worries me. For the most part, Oculus is taking the stand that Apple has, control the content coming out on their system. A system is only as good as the games that are on it. We don't want to fill the Gear VR full of games that are the exact same shovelware, same trick pony games that killed the Nintendo Wii and the Xbox Kinect. That's something the cardboard can do on its own. Sherriff VR is $4. These other games that we just looked at are free, with the option to buy. Sherriff VR could do the same thing if they had an option to buy it. Yeah, I would expect more content, obviously. But $4? $4 for the same type of experience where you can get cardboard games for absolutely free? I find this absolutely ridiculous. Let's be responsible consumers and show these developers what kind of games that we want on the Gear VR and vote with our wallet. Let's give Sherriff VR the send-off it deserves and let it die penniless. Do not buy this game. It is not worth $4. I'm going to say it again. $4. I got more content coming, game reviews, and B-Time interviews. Until next time. Ah!